Back again, it's series 2. And when I talk about series 2, what I really mean is lesson 2. Now, we talked in lesson 1 just about the creativity of verses and chorus. And what I was talking to you about was structure. I'm going to use that word again, structure. How do I structure my song? Now, I was just talking about 120 beats per minute and the fact that a song has a pace. So there is a song that might be a romantic song, and remember, I'm using an acoustic guitar. Now, you may be using any other kind of instrument or computer, but I'm going to give you what I call a ballad type of... I'm not going to bore you to death with how many beats per minute it is, but you can imagine it's almost lullaby-like, okay? And if you listen to lots of songs, that's the speed they are. Now, if we go into, say, a rockier sound, that's more dramatic. If we're into R&B, that... And on the dance floor, everybody goes, oh, wow, this is really making me want to dance. So this is when I talk about this beats per minute and genre. We talked about that genre that you're going to write in. And within that genre, there are certain rules that are no rules. You decide. So I put down here, when I wrote that other song, it kind of had a rhyme, didn't it? It's sort of, as we grow old, this love won't fade, we're just one soul, we're unafraid, so you could see there was a link. Sometimes you don't need to rhyme. Words can just crash, and they can just bang into each other and even hang over the edge. And again, you'll find that gives a real reaction in an audience. Yes, if you look at your favourite songs, look at your friends' favourite songs, there's something that captures in you, in your heart and your mind, that I love this track. And remember, it's not about deep and meaningful. Sometimes it's just a great song and you want to dance and have a party. But other times it's a song and it really touches you. And it brings a memory that's sad or beautiful or wonderful. And again, I'm going to refer what I said earlier. I write lots of songs, and of course I write love songs. Why? They're probably the most popular. If you look at people that sell the most songs, and as I'm speaking today on camera, and we have the Ed Sheerans and people of the world, they sell millions. Or Adele's always about sad, they're always breakup songs. Ed seems to be a bit more cheerful, he's always kind of up, I love you, whatever. But all of the kind of music that they do, which is a vast audience, and you go across bands like, I know, Arcade Fire, you go across Dua Lipa, you go across all these bands. And I was talking to Jay behind the camera earlier about this and saying each of these bands, they just connect with their audience because it's real. They get up there, they do a show, they do a live thing, and the audience go, this is the voice that I want to hear because it speaks to me. So your voice will speak to the people you want to get right inside it. Okay, your voice. So never forget that. Don't say, oh, is my stuff good? Is it worthy? Yes, it is. And it has a place. So be really bold and be confident. And during the rest of this series, we're going to work on that. So, first step, and I've put here for a writer like me and you, and I call it the setup. Now today I'm in my little workroom, and I'll show you some pictures of it a bit later. But what you can't see behind the camera, there's computers there, there's a digital studio there, you can see an amp over my shoulder, behind me there's guitars, normally there's guitars and things everywhere. And I like to write in a comfortable place. It could be your bedroom, could be a room in your house, and set it aside, make it your workroom. With me, you're going to get used to me drinking tea. I like a cup of tea, I like a pen, a pad. Sometimes I'll set a mic up and I'll record straight away. I use my phone a lot. I'm often in the street, which sounds a bit crazy, I'll admit, in Oxford Street in London, singing. I kind of lean against the wall so I don't look that mad, and I'm singing an idea I've had into my phone, and I'll then go home and go, I can now develop that. So I call it the setup. Find a good, comfortable place with the gear that you have. Don't get kind of crazy about, I don't have tons and tons of equipment. Gradually you can get more gear if you're a computer person, more plugins, etc. But you don't need lots to start. So don't panic that you don't have vast sums of money to buy giant bits of equipment. What have I got? A wooden box, a voice, a pen, and a piece of paper. That's all you need. A piano, pad, piece of paper, a computer. And you can think, these are the lyrics I've written, which I'll work on. But here's the tune, there's the loop I've made, and I've got this really good boom, do boom, do boom, 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 do. I've got a loop I really like. Simple. You don't need tons. And don't let anybody ever tell you, oh, you don't have all the right equipment. The equipment you need is a good head and a good heart. And I'm hoping you've got that now. So off goes my bit of paper. I was talking about drum beats earlier. And when I talk about drum beats, you can actually get in loops. I've got a stupid kind of thing called a trio, which a lot of guitarists will be familiar with. It's basically, I plug my guitar into it. It gives me guitar and bass, okay, and drums at the same time. And I can turn a few knobs on it. They're about 150 quid. And I'll show you. I'm going to give you a demo of these things. But I use that as a tool. And that's what I wanted to come on to. What are the tools that I need? Well, I need a cup of tea. I need a pen, I need a pad, I need an instrument, I need a laptop, I need a keyboard, a microphone. I've got a recording device, which is a digital studio, and they're made by Tascam and Boss, Zoom. There's lots of companies that will do that. There's a thing called, and I've got one over there, it's called the Zoom R16. You get 16 tracks, and you can record it live. So if you want to record your band, I mean, I'm hoping that somebody at Zoom sees this and sends me a huge bag of money, but I doubt it. But it's a really good piece of kit. And these, again, are not hugely expensive, but don't worry, you don't need to get into that just yet. What is a song? We already know. It's a story with music. What is the structure? Well, it's a kind of verse, chorus, middle eight, and out. But we can shivel those around. We can move those around. It's not a rigid structure. Some songs don't have a chorus. What they have is a repeating line. It just repeats, and it just repeats, and it repeats. And that's good, because it has a validity as a song. Different genres, remember, don't just follow that kind of rigid format. You get, and when I think about some drum and bass stuff that I've heard, it's just a repeated line going again and again. It's hypnotic. When we talk about club and dance music and EDM and all that type of stuff, you're actually listening to a groove. And it just goes round and round and round, and it's like hypnotic. And I always remember years ago when they talk about trance songs, and I used to say, yeah, it sends people into a trance. And what were the beats per minute? 120 and 140. And when they wanted to really get you going, 160. Yeah? So, in other words, bit technical again, beats per minute. How many beats? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We're not getting into music theory, but think about it. Listen to the tracks that you like and think, how fast is that track? I want to write one just like that. With computers, you can often work out the beats per minute. Yeah? There's lots of gadgets that will show you the beats per minute. Don't get kind of tied up in it. Just say, is the groove, is the beat, is the feel of this the kind of thing that I want to have for my song? And I go back to that word, which you're going to hear me repeat a lot, structure. A good, strong structure. And it isn't just verse, chorus, the stuff I've talked about. It's the structure that you create. So, I've kind of talked a little bit, I suppose, about hard and fast rules. But something I wanted to kind of say to you, and it's really personal to me, and again, it's a personal course from me to you anyway. I see songs as like a movie. And what I mean by that, when I wrote As We Grow Old, and that's the song I told you I'm kind of using as my basis, here's the verse. It says, we set out on this journey, baby, me and you, facing life together as we go. Well, think about that. So I'm saying to somebody, you and I set out on a journey together, and we're going to face whatever life throws us together, like a team, okay? And then the next line goes, but it ain't always easy. The road ain't always clear. And you take my hand and say you won't let go. Now it rhymes, it's the beats per minute, it's the structure, classic verse structure. But what does it say? I see it like a movie. So when I wrote that line, I could imagine two people walking along, holding hands, just, I don't know, in the shops, going for a burger, just going out with some friends for a drink, even coming home after being out all day, and talking to each other in that way that people sometimes talk, but saying, we are a team. We're going to get through this together, and I'm going to hold your hand and never let go. And I can see that like actors. So sometimes I want you to visualize. So here's another word. We talk about structure. I want you to visualize, picture those characters. You are a movie director now. These are characters acting out a play or a film, and you are the director. And if you get them to do the things in the way that you want them to do, everybody gets that. everybody understands that's how people are. Even if you're talking about something very difficult. Now, right now, as I'm recording this, there's a war going on. There's always a war going on, but right now, at the time of this recording, the Russian army has invaded Ukraine. And a lot of performers will be writing songs about how bad war is and how we shouldn't be doing this and things like that. And it is a very difficult subject because people say, are you cashing in? Or are you just, trying to look like you're trendy and on the moment? And sometimes no. People are angry, they're upset, and they need a piece of music to give us a kind of guide to a very difficult thing. Sometimes when we lose people, the one thing that gives us comfort is music. So I go back to those words, structure, visualization, beats per minute, and I'm now going to throw another word in, and that is truth. The truth of emotion, how you feel, is probably how most people feel about a subject. And we do get comfort, we get joy. A friend once said to me that music is the soundtrack to our lives. And I thought, that's my mate Dave, and I thought, that is a really sensible thing, because my life has got a soundtrack. You play me a certain song, and I'm 20 years old. Another one, I'm 32. Another one, I'm 40. And I'm here, and I'm there. It's like a time machine, music. And I need you guys to become in charge of my time machine. Take me somewhere. Move me. So just to wrap up on the idea of protest songs. There was a protest song that was, and it was sort of big in the 60s, and just so you know, I wasn't born in the 60s, but it was called We Shall Overcome. We shall overcome, we shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. And it was a really lovely anthem. And there's another word for you, an anthem. An anthem, a thing that we all want to sing along to. You hear of the national anthem, and you hear at football crowds, they've got these football anthems, and they sing them, the supporters learn them. Well, sometimes I want you as a writer to become anthemic. Give me a uniting song that we could all sit and sing together. You ever been to a live concert with one of your favourite bands and then sang that chorus, and the guy on the stage or the girl on the stage stops singing? They point the mic at you. Now, I've been doing that years myself, and of course sometimes the band criticise me and say, you're just lazy, you can't be bothered to sing, so you get them to do it. Do your job. But technically I'm actually doing my job, because I want the crowd to think, it's our turn, wow, I love this bit, and they all sing their hearts out. And I do the same. I go to artists that I absolutely adore, and I sing my heart out, because the anthem that they've given me, which seems odd because I'm with thousands of other people, but it's kind of unique to me. That is the art to songwriting, in my opinion. And this really is a songwriting course, in my opinion. So, last bit, and then Jay will give me the wrap up, I'm sure, because I've been waffling on. Basic structure and tune. What is a tune? A tune is, where does a tune come from? Da-dee-da-dee-da. I don't know where tunes come from. I sometimes hear an idea, and I think to myself, oh, that's a good idea. And other times I sit, and remember, I'm an acoustic guitarist, especially if I put new strings on. Now, this thing, by the way, for all guitarists, they'll probably know it, but if you don't, it's called a capo. This is a rather fancy capo, and it's made by a bunch called Thalia. I hope they're paying attention, because they don't sponsor me either. But I love their capos. They're a bit fancy, I know. And this one matches the stuff in my guitar, which is kind of just me. But a capo, basically, just so you know, that's G. But if I put the capo on, and that's number 5, this is the 5th fret, by the way, and I play a G shape, you can hear the whole thing's gone up loads of tones. And what that does to me sometimes, it will inspire me, because I hear something in that. And I go, okay, so hang on. Go back to that movie director. I'm going to play a little guitar piece. I'm making it up right in front of you. And what I want you to do now, at home, think, what does that make me feel like? I'm just making that up, but I can feel a story in there. I don't know what the story is, but I just know there's one in there. So a song idea, and I'm talking tune here, not lyric. I'm talking about top line, that thing that you remember. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da. Now you know where the top line is. It's hidden in those chords. Da-da-da, yeah? So when we talk about tunes and lyrics and things, I want you to look for the inspirations that we're going to talk about. But I'm hoping you're getting the idea. We're getting structure. We're getting movie direction. We're getting characters in a movie we're directing. So I'm going to finish now. I don't always finish with tea, by the way, but I just feel like some. And in the Lucky 7 performances, which you can see elsewhere on the channel, you'll see me doing songs that really are important to me or that has a validity to me, and they follow lots of the structures that I've talked to you about and some that I don't. So until the next time, and that's going to be number 3, just to get me on track, I'm going to see you guys very soon.